Hello, and welcome back again to my ISS Vanguard strategy campaign playthrough. This is episode 6. We're going to be focusing on a ship phase, and hopefully it'll go a bit quicker than the last few episodes. Just a quick recap from our last episode. We had a pretty exciting mission to the planet of Brimstone, dealing with volcanic activity and dangerous alien machines. Very successful. We managed to get our rank ups, got a bunch of discoveries, and we'll go through all that in the shipbook phase. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay, so we are going to start with pretty much already taking care of the docking. We only had 5 discoveries, so we didn't have to choose which one to keep or not. So let's move over to the debriefing. I've gone ahead and promoted the crew members. Again, we did manage to get 6 successes, and we were able to flip. Our goal was to have all our crew with 1 or fewer injury. We had just 1 injury, but we had already flipped it from completing a previous one of the tasks on planet. So Mark is going to go to rank 3. Cheryl, Jesse, and Keith are all going to bump up to rank 2. So we've done that. Created our success pool. We've got 7 successes, which is exactly enough to buy another die. But I think what I'm actually going to do is I want to be able to keep that moving, try and be able to get up to those 8 successes, so that I can buy another die, hopefully next time if things go well in our next mission. So I am going to take this opportunity to get an instructor to reduce the cost. And again, you can only do this once. So you can take 1 rank 2 and get -1, or you can take 1 rank 3 and get -2. You can't combine. We obviously don't have any rank 3s yet, but we have 3 rank 2s available. The other 2 are in medbay. They haven't come out yet, and of course can't use these ones. I'm not going to use Nicholas. I think there's a pretty good chance he's probably going to go on the next mission. I'm only going to be able to send 1 of my security people on this mission. So between Agatha and Camille, Agatha again has the science specialty. Camille has scouting. I have scouting available elsewhere, and I checked through. I looked at my I don't need scouting for any of the production projects I've got. Only need it for 1 of the research, so I could use Yut for that. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to have Camille act as an instructor. From his experience, having been planet side, he feels well equipped to, he's got a really good understanding of strategy and tactics. So as an instructor, it's going to be a little bit easier. It's only going to cost us 6 instead of 7. So let me grab that. And as you can see, I've already decided which dice I'm going to take, but let's quickly go through it. In this case, the colors were easy. I've only got 1 open slot in terms of filling up the rank 1 dice. And we are going to be sending more rank 2, but I want to make sure when we do send rank 1 crew that they get the full allotment of 8 dice. So and in terms of looking at this, I decided to just try and fill out the symbols more. Look for symbols I only had 1 of on my dice, and to diversify. I had one of my sections in the other campaign I'm playing, I had given them 2 science die, thinking that might be nice to have that specialty. It's turned out to be more of a hindrance than a help. On rare occasions, it might come into play, but usually I'd rather have them split between characters. So in this case, I'm going to give Mark a science die. I'm going to give Cheryl scouting. Sorry, not Cheryl. Recon is going to get a science die. Security is going to get some scouting ability. Engineering is going to get some xenology. And science is going to get construction. So everybody's learning how to do a little bit of everything. I think this is the way our Vanguard crew is shaping out. We've got a lot of people who've kind of crossed over. We have scientists in the security section and vice versa. So I think it's really good to have a diverse crew, both thematically and also from a gameplay strategic standpoint. All right, we have bought dice. That is going to move us over to unloading. We start unloading with our unique discoveries. We did pick up 2 of them. We've got the oxygenating extremophile. That's going to slot into 4. And we have now completed a row, so we are going to get An impressive display of Vanguard's discoveries helps keep the spirits high. Move card B11, Hall of Trophies from bridge upgrades to the awaiting envelope. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so we have picked up the Hall of Trophies. Whenever you have 3 or fewer successes on the start of the bridge step, add 1 success to your success pool. And the flavor text on that, if I can actually read something this small: treasures discovered during perilous voyages remind those who doubt the true value of their mission. Well, let my crew never doubt their value. But just in case, we got the Hall of Trophies. We will throw this over here in our awaiting area. And let's continue. We also got Protein Soup. It's another planetary exploration, so nothing special here, but we've started working on row 2 there. Don't really have any. That's one thing, and maybe it'd be nice to have some guidance of what areas, what might help round out different things, but there's really no strategicness to that I've picked up. You just kind of go where there is. You pick up the unique discoveries, and hopefully you fill a row. Maybe you don't. We'll see. Maybe I'll pay a little more attention to this time to see if maybe there are. Let's take a look at what the flavor text is, and maybe there are some clues. But that is, those are our unique discoveries. We also picked up 3 non-unique discoveries. They all have ship management ability. So let's run through these. We'll start with the ultra durable ceramic crust. So ship management, when unloaded, move production project C09 ceramic plating into the awaiting envelope. Then remove the discovery from the game. That is going to be some very impressive pottery if we're going to be attaching it to our shield. So we're going to go ahead and do that. This is removed from the game. So we won't have that mineral discovery to spend, but I think we're going to be okay anyway. We only can use 1 of them this round if we do research. So here's the ceramic plating project. Replicating a recently discovered ultra-durable ceramic compound could help us build tougher containers. Stage 3, not too hard, grants a lander mod. However, we do not have a lot of these symbols in terms of protection and strength. We'll take a closer look once we are able to go through medbay and get crew out of resting. But I don't know if we're going to be able to do this round. So we'll see. We'll have some decisions to make. Let's set that aside. Next, we have the veiny impactite and a mold covered object. And these are both ones that you can kind of trade out for something else. So we could get rid of the mineral and get a microorganism, which we have here. We could get rid of the microorganism and we could get anything. As it turns out, that if we're going to research, these are probably the 2 we want. We've got one project that requires just a microorganism and one that requires just a mineral. So I am going to hold on to both of these. I'm going to add them along. I'm just going to keep these out so we can take a look at them. Remember, these were our other discoveries. So we got a couple alien tech, a live specimen, microorganism, and mineral. So there we go. And that completes the unloading step, which then brings us over to the medbay. So fortunately, although we had a couple injuries, neither of them were too bad. So Monica and Boris are going to be back in action. They come out. They're going to go right to our available crew. So that is good. That's good because we didn't have anybody else with biology in our crew, and I have a feeling we're going to need that. We are sending Keith, unfortunately, if you remember, the part of the video that got cut off was that Keith was standing atop a ridge near the lander sector and saw in the distance the volcano erupting and the lava coming, and even though the rest of the team was telling him we have time, he completely freaked out, panicked, was yelling, the floor is lava, the floor is lava. And so he's going to need a little time in medbay maybe to see a counselor to kind of work through that anxiety that he had. Okay, so that takes care of that. And so now I can kind of, again, these three crew members are going to go to resting. And Cheryl's the only one I've got right now who has a protect. Again, Jesse has the biology. At least we also have Boris available. Although he is also our only engineering rank 2, so if we want to send him on a mission, and again, he's one that we are going to want to get up to rank 3, because spend a charge to refresh all blue dice, that could potentially get him 6 dice back once he gets to rank 3. So I don't even know if he'll be available for his ability. But we'll see. Now at least, we've taken care of that. Nobody died. No memory wall. So we're going to flip all the way back to the bridge. And now we do have a couple of things to pull out. Remember, we just got this Hall of Trophies. Check one thing quickly. Okay, so it's a little unclear to me with the Hall of Trophies, right? It says at the start of your bridge step, and we are installing this now. I wasn't able to find anything online. I'm just going to go, rules as written. The start of our bridge step, at the start of our bridge step, this card is not yet there. So I'm not going to take the success. If I did that wrong, let me know. I will happily take it later. But I'll put it here beneath my command token for now. So as I'm looking down, I can hopefully remember. That's that. We've also got the Advanced Star Map, which is going to reduce the cost of travel to outbound systems by 1, but no lower than 1. So if it already costs 1, it's still going to cost 1. But anything more expensive, going to be 1 less. And again, and I keep saying it, I will keep saying it, your first 4 or 5 playthroughs, read through every step. Even if it's not relevant, just read through it all. It'll help drive it in, and also stuff you didn't pay attention to before. For example, this is the first time we've got a travel upgrade. It tells you right here in the text, put your travel upgrades on the next page. That way they'll be available so you can look at them when you're making your travel choice. So, and that is the wrong system. Okay, so we're going to deposit this here, and then we're going to flip back to the bridge. Now we're going to go to step 2, generate command and energy pools. So I've already gone ahead and I've set those out. We get 2 plus 1 for our high morale, 3 command. We get 4 energy plus 1 for our solar panels, 5 energy. Next up, we're going to check situations. We do have a situation in the awaiting envelope / area. It is the provocation. So remember, we had some people who apparently were not aware that troublemakers were getting thrown on a prison planet, or maybe they were, and that's why they were provocating, but probably not the best idea, given that precedent had been set. But nevertheless, we kind of let that problem fester a bit, and we didn't solve it. The end result is we are going to have an additional solution. So we're going to have to deal with this again, or it's going to go back to the awaiting envelope. And on top of that, we get one situation from our current campaign objective, and an additional one from that. So we're going to draw 2 more from the deck, and let's take a look at what those situations are going to be. First, we got the Builder's Cult. A strange new religion appears. Its prophets claim the builders of the Eye of the Void are true gods of humanity and denounce the captain as a blasphemer. Send those people to the prison planet. If we don't resolve it, we're going to have to discard 1 alien tech and move this card to the awaiting envelope, or lose 2 successes and lower morale. Wow, those are both terrible. But when solved, you may discard 1 command token to remove this card from the game so that you never have to deal with it again. So that's that. Whew. Yeah, I don't think we're going to I think we're going to the situation room this time. That's already 2. Let's see what the third one is. Oh, there's an outbreak. Boy, when it rains, it pours. Several crew members succumb to a strange disease that doesn't seem to pose a serious threat to their life, despite a fever and their sudden problems with eyesight. And I think Jesse is swearing up and down they had nothing to do with it, despite that biome. It was, maybe it was somebody else's fault. But they did poison a biome, and while they were able to fix it, it looks like they brought something back. All right. It doesn't seem to pose a serious threat to life, despite a fever and their sudden problems with eyesight. yeah, not a problem at all. If we don't resolve it, each section moves one available crew member to resting crew. And move this to your waiting envelope. So again, you just have to keep dealing with it. When solved, you may assign 2 crew members to gain 1 success and remove this card from the game. Otherwise, shuffle this card into possible situations. Interesting. We'll see whether or not we think we're going to have enough crew to do that. We are, like I said, we are definitely going to go to the situation room to look at this stuff, but we don't have to do that right away. That we can kind of plan things out. That does it for the bridge phase. So now we can take a look at the star map. And we are currently in system 81 INF. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so here we are in 81 INF. Again, we've already taken a look at the Tidecaller Moon. We can go there again. I didn't check the logbook, so I don't know if the same thing will happen again, but I believe, it was -1 energy, and we gained a discovery. So that's something to keep in mind. We could potentially do that again, or maybe get something different. Of course, this is Brimstone. We're not going to go back there. We've pretty much exhausted almost everything there is to do. We haven't found a Builder's Sealy there, but I don't know if there's one to be found. Let's go somewhere else first, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that later in the campaign. So the next option we've got, right, we could go to, for 3 energy, we could go to INFC. From time to time, this scorching gas giant flings plumes of molten metal into the exosphere. Costs 3 energy. Check out log 291. And finally, we could assign 2 crew members to draw mineral discovery and move it to gathered discoveries. Good to know that we have that ability. We're not going to do that one. We're not going to need more than 1 mineral as things look right now, most likely. I am very curious, though, about that scorching gas, so I am going to consider that we might want to do that. But what then we're going to need to do then is figure out where we're going to go. So we do have a couple of options. We could go to TOI 2 for 1 energy. That's just going to take us back where we started. We could also go to Iota. I actually think it's Pegasi, right? Iota Pegasi. Normally costs 3 energy, but it would only cost us 2 to go there. All right, so let's see. Now's probably a good time to take a look at kind of a broader map, because flipping back and forth through these pages can be pretty tricky. That's why if you look at the back of the logbook, you can see there is this handy map, right, which is going to show you all the places you can go and places to put in notes. And you can record travel distances, or if you're like me, I'm a programmer by trade, websites and databases. I went ahead and put together a little database for myself. So let's take a look. So here is my star map, and I've zoomed in a little to the only areas we've seen. And so I'm just using this to keep track of everything. You can see in the Eye of the Void, we have the unidentified signal. That's in gray because there's nothing to be done. In TOI 2, so the things that we can do, again, I've put the energy cost and the effect. Brown means they're repeatable. The pellucid landing we can't do again, so I made that gray. Up in our current system, we haven't done log 291 yet, so I left that black. And also looking at this, you can see all the travel costs. So here's what I'm thinking. There were 4 locations, right, that are mentioned on our objective where we might look for Builder's Sealies. One of them is Iota Pegasi. One of them is right here on Matchstick or on Brimstone. There's Matchstick down in NU4 SETI, and there's Everstorm in GYF4. So we could fly to Iota Pegasi next, but that would put us farther away, right? It would cost us 2 energy, but that would put us farther away from from the other two options. So then really is the question, do we want to fly down? It would cost us 2 energy to fly down to NU4 SETI, just 1 energy to go to GYF4, and then whatever it costs to travel between there. So, and then going back, from if we wanted to double back to Iota Pegasi from GYF4, it would be 1 and then 2, a total of 3. Coming from NU4 SETI, it would be 1 up to TOI, another 1 up to INF, and 2. So it costs 4 energy, which is all by a long way of saying is I think we're going to go to NU4 SETI. It costs a little bit more energy now. But then I can work my way from NU4 SETI over to GYF4. Then, if I want to fly back up to Iota Pegasi, it's, I'm not spending 4 energy, which is a little worrisome going completely in the blind. So that's my reasoning. I think if I had bothered to take a look at this map before and paid a little bit more attention, I probably would have done things differently. I would have charted across, let's go to NU4 SETI first, the GYF4, then INF, then Iota Pegasi. That would have made a lot of sense, but we didn't. So we have to backtrack a bit. No problem. So that's it. It's going to cost us 2 energy, and we've got 5 energy. We know there's a planet in NU4 SETI because that's one of the places on our map. So there's going to be a landing there. So I don't think we have to worry about going adrift. We got plenty of crew member. We can assign people to scan. We are going to be coming back through here again, but I don't want to be spending 3 energy and then another 3 to get to Iota Pegasi. We may not even, right now we can't even generate that much energy. So leave no stone unturned. I really want to know what's going on here with that. What's going on with the INFC, with the molten metal being spewed into the exosphere. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to spend the 3 energy, and we are going to see what happens. And this is log 291. Here we go. Never done this before.
Engineering report 81INF1C13.
The hazardous conditions of 1C required the use of jetpacks to allow users to move precisely and fast. We spent a lot of time and resources preparing the equipment so that it didn't require years of experience to operate, or special training that the recon section receives.
Jetpacks for everyone?
We succeeded in this field and constructed a simplified version of a jetpack stuffed with electronics that perform many tasks that the user had to do manually before. That was the only thing we succeeded in. The whole 1C project was a fiasco otherwise, and it brought us nothing but a loss of energy. Oh, and the recon guys decided to stick with their old jetpack design, despite it being clearly harder to use. They complained that when using a more automated version, the feeling just wasn't the same. Whatever that means.
Yeah, I feel like whatever century ISS Vanguard takes in place, I'm not sure they're still going to have self-driving cars working at that point, so I could see the reluctance to use the self-driving jetpack. That seems a little frightening, but I hope it wasn't just a completely waste of time. Let's see if anything came out of this. Oh, sure. We got card E15 jetpack. So let's take a look at that. Or do we already have that? All right. So we'll take a look at this jetpack. But then also we can assign 1 crew member to gain 1 mineral discovery. So you know what? I think we are going to do that. You never know when you'll have opportunity to pick these things up. And, well, Tabisa went on a scouting mission before, so I feel like it only makes sense that she does it again. So Tabisa is going to go ahead and, just having gone to Tidecaller Moon, she's now going to 81 INFC, and she came back with a melted crystalline structure. Nothing special, wouldn't matter if there were, because it just goes right to gather discoveries, but we can add that to our pile of discoveries. Meanwhile, this is very cool. So we have picked up a generic jetpack. It is exactly the same, right down to the artwork and the ability, as the Recon jetpack, but it's gray. It can be used by anybody. So that is very cool. Again, I did not stick around to do this last time, so I had no idea what was going to happen from this exploration. So that's that. We've spent 3 energy, and we'll throw that in to the armory later. So we've only got 2 energy left. Again, just kind of looking at our star map, right? We are currently in 81 INF, so we're going to try that route where we loop around. So the next stop is going to be TOI 2. So we spend an energy for that, and I would flip the ship book there if need be, but we don't need to because we have all the information right here. And then 1 to travel to NU for SETI. And between now and the next shipbook phase, I'll fill in the information here. I actually have a lot of it pre-entered from my other campaigns, so it's just a matter of clicking a button and it'll populate. But there could be some spoilers there, so we're not going to take a look at that yet. We're just going to go... we are just going to take a look at the system we've arrived in, and let me pop that up. Yeah, we've spent all our energy. Let's find out about NU4 SETI. The protoplanetary nebula in the vicinity of the system contains a high amount of oxygen particles. We also detect high oxygen levels on several objects in the system, giving us hope for lush, verdant worlds. So we've got NU4 SETI A. The plants and creatures of this small, verdant world developed complex pheromones that also seem to affect humans. For 1 energy, we can make contact. It requires objectives. Now, this is confusing, but I'll explain it. 006 to 011. Place planet card NU4 SETI A in the waiting envelope. We're only on objective 2, so we're not there. And I think a lot of people first time read this the same way I read is, we need all of those objectives, but there's only 2 spots for objectives in the shipbook. Yeah, this just means you need any one of those. So if you're in the range of 6 to 11, if you happen to be on any one of those objectives, then you can do the make contact. Either way, seems like we're quite a ways off from that. Let's move on to Matchstick, a large green planet brimming with life, but troubled by flash fires. Oh, yeah. It's a good thing Keith Wood is resting and isn't going to be sent on that mission because he's still in trauma from the lava. It's a landing, and again, it's 0, so good thing we don't have any energy left. If there were no landing here, we'd be taking a morale hit and we'd be floating out at space. But again, we could be pretty confident because it was on our objective, said Planet Matchstick and NU4 SETI. So we got a couple of other things. We have SNU4 SETI B1. The moon's waters, thick with amino acids and archaea, could give birth to interesting life forms in a mere billion years. Assign 1 crew member to draw 1 microorganism discovery and move it to gathered discoveries. All right. We currently have 1, and that's 3 energy, so we're not doing that anytime soon. Finally, Burning Niflheim. Extreme gravity and temperatures make this place as inhospitable as it gets. We have to spend 2 energy, and we can check out a log entry, and we certainly don't have the energy to do that either. So, really, just the one choice is going to be to check out Matchstick, and we're going to scan that. So let's grab the card and see what we're looking at. All right, so L2 Matchstick, seeing a trend here. Don't know how long this will keep up, but it is nice. So now the first one is free. So let's slide that up. And okay, so now it is going to cost us an energy, or in this case, boosting with a crew member, to take a look at the next step. So let me take a look over the crew. I'm going to start thinking about, at least from this crew, who I might want to send to the planet, who I need to hold back. So take a moment and we'll be right back. Okay, so here's how it breaks out. I'm just looking. There's a lot of, like, almost all of these production projects we're looking at, much as I'd like to start getting into some of them, do require protection, or defense, which we don't have any available crew right now. So, of course, I always get the free movement, but I feel like we're going to be limited in how much we can do production wise. So, I'm looking at doing research instead. And again, remember, so I got 3 command tokens. We're going to go to the situation room. We have to do that. We're going to go to the barracks because I want to keep building up our crew. The more crew you have, just keep hitting that barracks early on. As tempting as it would be to say, oh, I can do production and research, can you? You're not going to be able to get as much done. Better to just keep building that crew up. You're going to have more options, more flexibility. So we're definitely going to go to the barracks. We still have high morale, so I want to take advantage of that. So if I'm going to research, I looked at the 2 projects. I do have the discoveries for those 2. Don't have the discoveries for that one yet. So one of those will be free. The other one, I'm going to need Yut and Aga to deal with that. Then I was looking at the situations. One's going to be free. I'm going to need symbols for the other 2. I can do that with Javier and Gabolahan, in theory. And again, I picked out, as far as setting aside, I set aside all my rank 2s, except I needed potentially Agatha for this, but we'll see who, once we recruit the barracks, that may change. So for now, I put down Inda would be the lone rank 1. And honestly, I'm of a mind, I don't want to send just a team only of rank 2s. I kind of want to balance it out anyway. So again, it's not set in stone. We're still going to go to the barracks. That'll shift some things around, but I'm just planning ahead, knowing that at least right now, Lena and Vidas are both available to scan the planet. Vidas, Crackerjack, he told us all about, has done this before, was able to tell us all about the dust storm and its movements. So certainly let's get him doing that. Lena has never worked the con before, but I think she's a quick study. Vidas will help her out, assuming we'll have to see what the other cost is. I guess I'm just assuming it'll be 1, but I don't know that for sure. So, but having made all these decisions, we'll start with Vidas. He's going to go ahead and he's going to scan the planet. And he is going to bring back some information, and watching over his shoulder the whole time, learning how to do it, is Lena, and she will go ahead and scan the next scan, giving us full information, or at least as much as our scouting can get, about Matchstick. So let's take a look at what we've learned. All right, so landing turbulence and thick smoke. We're going to want both sensors and agility this time. Last 2 landings we were looking for shields. This time something else. Frequent checks, we are looking for biology. All right, well, we do currently have Boris slotted as one of the people who might be going on this mission, so that worked out well. Biomes, looks like we have cave systems and vegetation. That's an interesting combination. Significant roles, xenology and technology. We do potentially have Gabolahan, and there's we could potentially send them on the mission. Be prepared for danger die rolls. Danger die A. Aggressive threats detected. Oh boy. Okay. Well, we found one of those before, and we had sent the right security person for that. We'll see about this time. All right. So good information that we've got there. We'll keep that nearby so we can consult it as we're making our decisions throughout the ship phase. But that is it. We are done with the star map. So now we can move on to ship facilities. I just had this brief moment of, oh no, did I just send my last engineering people? But no, planning this out, I had already picked 4 potential people, set them off to the side, so that everybody I'm looking at here was fair game. So ship facilities, we have 3 options. We're going to do barracks definitely first, and then science and situations, not necessarily in that order. Let's start off. We definitely want to go to the barracks first, give ourselves full options for the other 2. Again, morale is high, so we are going to be able to draw from 6 people. We also have the opportunity Again, we don't have any level 3s, so we can't train anybody up, but we would have the opportunity to move people out to another section, but doing so, they would go to resting. So again, we're still not in a position to do that. Rest assured, like the first time we do a barracks phase and we've kind of calculated out that we're going to have leftover people after we do everything else, we're going to be some moving some people around, but not yet. Right now, let's grab 6 recruits out of Torpor, conduct some interviews, and see who's available. Hey, all right. Well, I haven't looked that closely. I just took a quick scan, and I was really hoping for some protection, because protect abilities, because we have so much that's needed for our production. We didn't get any, but boy, we got a ton of xenology, though. Just quickly running through, we've got Petra. So she's got xenology in red, and whenever a crew member in your sector would gain injury, spend 1 charge to discard it with an injury die instead. I can really like that ability. Especially knowing that we're going to be dealing with threats. We got another red xenology, Gia Siak. Trump card, spend 1 charge to take 1 card of any rank from your section compartment. So at a rank 1 can use a rank 3 card. Wow, and it's during the exploration, so situational. One of the tricky things about choosing cards ahead of time is, what am I going to need? Am I going to draw it when I need it? This is boom, just grab what you need. So also a very cool ability. Evelyn Castillo is our 3rd option for xenology. When assisting, spend 1 charge to assist with 2 dice instead of 1. After the dice check, return them to your available dice. All right, that's pretty good. You could definitely see situations where that would be useful, especially if she's not in recon and somebody's going down with the live stream rig. So that's worth considering. Then I mean, I haven't gone through the process yet, but we have a lot of construction icons, so I don't know that he's going to make the cut. Then again, he might, because we have so many. We only have limited choices. Stepan, spend 1 charge, then discard any number of cards. Refresh 1 die for every discarded guy. Have we seen him before? We've seen this ability before. Don't love it. Don't know if he's going to make the cut. We got 1 more green die. Actually, these are both strength. Millie Peters, alpha, during a dice check, spend 1 charge to choose a crew member assisting you and turn 1 die in their roll pool to any result. Fascinating. That's very cool. Everybody's got Vanguard dice they can assist, and so she got 3 charges. So that's 3 times she can get some help and get a double Vanguard. This and green. If you're on my wavelength, then we've already decided without even thinking about anything else. I know where she's going, but we'll come right back to that. Let's just look at Manish John, who's got also strength in blue. During a dice check, spend 1 charge to get rid of a die. That's we've seen that ability before. Against 4 charges, it's blue. This is a good candidate for science. It's the same special ability in science, but that's not a bad thing. So we will consider that. Take a moment I'm going to look over all my options, decide who to keep, who's going in what section, and then we'll go over it. Okay, so I've gone through and we've conducted our interviews. We've figured out who's going to be best in each section, and sent a couple people back to sleep. Sorry, Evelyn and Stepan. Better luck next time. All right, first, the easy one was Millie Peters. So right, it's green, which is ideal for recon, and spend 1 charge. Right, this is when somebody assists her. She can get that incredibly good ability. So couple her with the live streaming rig, and anywhere on the board, potentially, if I'm in a really, it says during a dice check, right, spend 1 charge, I can do it multiple times. So potentially, if I were in like a really major dice check, I could have all 3 other sections lend a Vanguard die, you burn all our charges for 6 Vanguard symbols. So the potential here is incredible. That was a very easy choice, and I'm going to be looking to get her in a mission as soon as possible. Start getting her leveled up. Maybe. I don't know if she's going to go on this mission. Possibly. Next up, the next decision I made was I knew I was going to take. Gia, because that ability just seems really cool. The trump card to be able to get any card from any rank. So then I was just looking at the different rank 3 and some of the rank 2 cards, because there might be times when that makes more sense. And I just feel like engineering has the most diverse things for the most different situations. Security has a really nice rank 3 card to prevent an injury, but not that many other choices that I would necessarily see being just the perfect fit for the moment. Whereas, I mean, I can get potentially small equipment, I can get mission equipment, I can relocate to a sector. There's just refresh a bunch of dice. There's a lot of possibilities, and so just being able to grab the right card I need at the right time, I think that's going to be really useful to have her in engineering. Next up, I decided to put Petra in security. Protector, it just seemed like a natural fit. So that was that decision. And then I've now got 3 Xenology, so I wasn't going to take the 4th Xenology. I'd already ruled out Stepan. So that did leave Manus Chen, and by process of elimination, he is going to Science, so he's got tons of charges, so he can still get lead tokens with those cards, but also have plenty of charges to use to get rid of accident results. So that is our new recruits. And we'll find out more about them, like I said, the first time they go on a mission. So now, now we have quite a few more options. Still not in great shape to go to production. And we did spend to go to the barracks. Because we can barely move any of the production projects. So I am going to go through with my original plan to do research. But before I do that, I'm going to give some consideration to who, and now we've got the information from Matchstick. So I'm going to look everything over, and the first thing I'm going to decide now is who am I going to send on this away mission. And then we'll finish up with the rest of it. All right, so I've shuffled everything around. I have figured out who I'm going to send on this mission. I'll go over that a little bit later. But I've kind of plotted everything out. Who's going to deal with which situations? Who's going to deal with which research? So we're ready to go ahead and move on to the next phase, which is we are going to go to the research laboratory. So first things first, we do need to install research projects. And I've got this extreme biome survival, which I don't have the resources to do, but I do need to put it somewhere. And boy, yeah, just looking, I have a lot of Xenology, and I have a lot of construction. So I'm just going to go, Xenology and Gathering would also be good, but I'm going to slot it up here. That way, if I do need to spend crew to boost there, I'm almost certainly going to have what I need. So for the other two, right, we're gonna make this our free one, the alien materials, and we just need a mineral discovery for that. I have 2 options. I'm going to use, neither is rare. I'm going to use the one that has a special ability, so we can get it back into the mix, as opposed to the other one, which has no special ability. And then up here, right, I'm going to need Recon and Science. Remember, I was anticipating this. That's early on. That's why I had made sure I was going to keep Agatha back and Yut. So exactly as planned, they're going to go up there and resolve that. So let's go ahead and spend our discovery to pull this card out. Let's spend that discovery and send them to resting crew to pull this out. And let's find out what our research is going to lead to. All right, so first we have the biomedical enhancements. Studying new microorganisms and exotic life forms can unlock many new medical discoveries. So that's that. And that is going to, that is going to give us biomedical enhancements. These new technologies would help us increase the survivability of our crew and enhance their capabilities. So we're going to get a bunch of cards, which I will grab and then show you. Okay, so first we get a medbay upgrade. It's the Trauma Center, a specialized expansion of the medbay that deals traumatic injury. When performing the survival check, you may re-roll one blood drop result. So survival check is if they come out with 3 wounds, they're in danger of dying. So this at least is going to give us a re-roll to minimize the chance of death. Next up, we're going to get some nanotechnology. So it looks like this. That's a pretty tricky 2 mineral discoveries and 2 alien tech. It's an advanced research project. Though first steps into nanotechnology were made well before Vanguard's mission, it was the discovery of alien nanomachines and esoteric minerals that allowed us to fulfill the visions of Earth's scientists. Going to get lander mod facility upgrade and equipment. Lots of good stuff. That's going to take some effort to get. Throw those over here. And we also got some equipment. We have some mission equipment, a medvac drone, so you can spend a red and a blue to drop a token in the sector. Whenever a crew member receives their 4th injury, you may ignore the injury and immediately place them in the lander sector instead of performing the evac procedure. All right, so I mean, I prefer to avoid injuries, but just in case. We've also picked up a little sack of small equipment. We have stimulants. Anybody can use it. Roll the A die, then each crew member in your sector refreshes 3 dice. That seems quite good. That's basically, if used at the right time, that's like a free rest. Well, not free, you have to roll, but doesn't cost an action. Could be really good. Then we've got some nutrients, blue, red, and green. They all do the same thing for a different color. You can return this card to the armory and roll any number of blue, red, or green dice. So good to have options. So that is the equipment we've picked up. We'll throw that up here with the jetpack. And that completes that research. The next research we did was the alien materials. So exotic carbon allotropes used by the builders in their sphere allowed us to create a new family of unique materials. So out of that, we pick up a bridge upgrade. We have the reinforced hull. The Vanguard may now fly to dangerous systems or destinations. Yellow outbound options. So that opens up the map a bit for us. Improved structural integrity of ISS Vanguard will allow us to enter even the most dangerous systems. Not sure I want to do that yet, but, well, the option's out there. So we'll throw that over here. We have also picked up a research project, which is improved landers. Boy, we need a lot of alien tech, which is good. We have some. We need a lot of minerals. Knowing more about the worlds we are to visit, we should be able to come up with some new lander and module designs. So this is going to grant a production projects. Ooh, new landers. Hopefully we can get something better than the Pelican. Oh, shouldn't rule it out. Maybe we'll use the Pelican this time. Probably not. But, all right, good. So those are complete. Let's set that over in the awaiting area. And that is it for research. We technically do have the crew if we wanted to boost this, but we don't have the discoveries. Let's just take note of what we do need. We have alien tech. We do not have microorganism. We do not have strange flora. So those are things we do. Yeah, we don't have either of those, but we'll kind of keep that in mind in terms of what kind of discoveries we might be looking for on the planet. That's going to bring us to the end of the research phase, and then we are going to use our last command token to resolve the situations. So let's go to the situation room, which is here. All right, so again, just going down in order, the first thing you do is you apply the when solved effect of any card. So we're going to apply the when solved effect of the Builder's Cult. So when solved, you may discard 1 command token, remove this card from the game. We already, this was the last one we spent. We wouldn't have done it anyway. So this will get shuffled back in. So, we're going to still have to deal with these zealots. It's going to come up again. It just requires resources we don't have to deal with that right now. So that's a tomorrow problem. At least we don't have them like taking over the ship or like stealing our alien tech discoveries and building golden idols out of them. So that situation resolved. Now we're going to look at this provocation. This dissenting crew members tries to stir up trouble in order to blame the captain and his section leaders. So yeah, I think probably what we wanted to do was just send those people down to the prison planet. But we're not there anymore. We've flown, so although technically we did fly through, but we were trying to make good time. Didn't really want to stop there, and also feel like these people aren't criminals yet. They're just provocateurs. So let's see, and we have a couple options for who can deal with this. Who's the best person to send? Do we want to send Monica or Javier? That's right. Again, in order to deal with this, just to show you the card, right, in order to solve it, in this case, this is our second situation resolving. We do need to boost it with either gathering or science. So I got a choice between Monica and Javier. Javier's a soldier, so it's certainly, although in science, so he could certainly whip them into shape. But I feel like Monica, whose special ability is insight, she just got she was recovering from an injury in med bay, and I feel like as things were boiling to a head, this more experienced crew member who really understands what's going on with the captain and the section leaders, has been on a planet, has been injured, was able to kind of see things a little bit from their point of view, serve as a mediator. So thanks to Monica, for now, the provocateurs have been dealt with. It may happen again. That's getting shuffled back into possible situations. But thank you, Monica, for dealing with that. Last but not least, we got to deal with that viral outbreak, right? Because this is just going to be nasty if it happens. Fortunately, we are, this certainly seems to be something where, either biology or xenology, we are swimming in xenology. We have a couple of options for who to do this. It's going to be our new engineering crew member, Gia, is just had a flash of genius. Boom, lays out the trump card. I've got the solution. She's able to figure it out and resolve that situation. Furthermore, right, so it says here, you may assign 2 crew members to gain a success and remove this card from the game, otherwise shuffled in impossible situations. So Gia's got some help on this. Of course, she's going to recruit the aid of the other xenobiologist who's available, Gabolahan. And boy, and at that point, who else is she going to look to? Is it going to be... I think it's going to be somebody else in science. So it's either going to be Manish Jain or that soldier Javier. I feel like Javier was probably backing up Monica in case things didn't go well there. So another newly awoken crew member, Manish Jain, along with Gobolahan, the 3 of them are all going to work together, and we are going to get another success out of that, and we're going to remove that situation from the game. A highly successful situation phase. We got very efficient too. We only have 2 unused crew. So let me just clean a few things up and we will progress to the next phase. Okay, I've got everything figured out. I just wanted to show you too this, and I've shared this doc, so you can take a look. I don't know if the links are clickable yet. I still have to fix that in YouTube, but the links are also available on Board Game Geek. If you just check the strategy section of ISS Vanguard. And so this is how I'm keeping track of, I've got everything color coded by what the crew are doing, when they joined. So yeah, it's not necessary, but again, from a thematic standpoint, it's fun. I can look back at a glance and see who did what and kind of see how their story develops. So just a little extra fun I'm having with it. All right, let's get into the meat of it and finish off this video by just talking about who's going to be going down to the planet. We're going to take the Space Ranger. Again, we've been told that we need sensors and agility. Rather than and I have +2 to either. Rather than go for the +2 sensors and kind of have it even across the board, I feel like if it's anything like last time, where remember having 4 armor meant nothing bad happened on that effect, I think I want to skew in that way rather than ensure that something bad is going to happen every time. Let's give ourselves a chance of hopefully some ace results. So we're going to bump our agility up to 4. We're going to take the emergency broadcasting system because it's the only utility mod we have. I would not take it if I had any other choice because 2 of my crew only have 1 charge. And, Boris is refreshed 4 dice. That's the equivalent of a rest right there. And then have him burn off 3 other charges, including preventing an injury. Unless I get desperate, I'm not going to use it. But that being the case, I am going to bring the dehydrated supplies last time. Or bring it again. I didn't need it last time. Maybe need it this time. I'm also going to bring the mining probe because it seems like every new... I don't expect there's necessarily going to be minerals here. It doesn't seem, going what we read about Matchstick. But we are going to need mineral discoveries for several of our projects. So bring the mining probe for that. In terms of personal equipment, again, the live streaming rig, perfect combo with Millie. And I haven't even gone over the crew yet, so we'll come back to that. Now, I like the idea of stimulants, right? Because remember last time I lost dice, I fortunately was able to get a bunch of dice back from completing various tasks on planet. That was fortunate. I don't think that's going to happen every time. So if I do have to lose dice during the landing, I could just start off with the stimulants and everybody gets 3 dice back. So I like that. Bring a med kit. I always like that extra protection, and the neutral jetpack, which I think I'm probably going to give to security because she's got 4 red dice. Good thing is I don't have to decide who's getting any of these gray cards yet. They just all go on the lander. I did consider when I was choosing small equipment, I looked at the symbols. I ended up taking the same 4 I had last time. Mapping mini drones has biology, so does the bioanalyzer. I only have 1 die with protection and no convert ability for protection. So let me get that portable probe, which came in so clutch that Jesse was able to use that to help to defeat the Arrogator Behemoth last time. And the physical enhancer, again, I thought about taking, now it's interesting, right? So these 3 will go, and I could, right, everybody only takes 1. So, though, granted, I think you could probably pass that off once you landed. I thought about doing the red, to be able to reroll all the red dice for Petra, but at the end of the day, I think it'd just be more useful having this ability. So I just went with that suite of 4. So everyone's going to get their personal equipment. So let's just, I'll go over the backstory of the crew so we don't forget for the next video. Right now, I'm just going to quickly run through them. Right, in Recon, we are taking, though she is just level 1, actually, let me stop down here, too. I am taking 2 level 1s and 2 levels 2. There's some intentionality there. I've read some other, in that Board Game Geek thread, one person, said they try to get everybody up to rank 3 as possible. Then you can use your rank 3s to promote your rank 1s. But it's not that hard to go from rank 1 to rank 2. You only need 3 successes. I like the diversity. Rather than try and I want to take time before I get to rank 3 to figure out, well, who do I really want to put in the effort to get there? Having more rank 2 crew is going to give me more options. And I want to be able to send, as we go, more rank 2 crew people once I go past that 8 die threshold. So we're still in a good position to be sending some rank 1s. They're still able to use all the dice that we have. So that's why I did that breakdown. Again, Millie's got that great ability where she can convert to to double Vanguards if we're using Vanguard dice or whatever symbol. And with the live streaming rig, she's going to be able to get that help from anywhere. For security, it's also going to be a first timer. It's going to be Petra, who she's got that xenology and she can prevent an injury, which, you know, it seems like there's going to be a risk of getting burned. So having that ability on the planet will be nice. Boris is getting the call again to go back down. Our engineer, our methodical engineer, he's the only crew member we've got with expertise in biology, which is frequent checks. So that was a no-brainer. And last but not least, our, I believe, the commander of this mission is going to be our security turned science officer, Nicholas Green. Who is going to be able to zip around by spending charges and rolling the A die. So that's our crew. And again, everybody's got room for all the dice, so we don't have to make any decisions there. All that's left now is to pile everybody on board and begin the landing procedure. We're going to do that next time. So thank you again for tuning in. Hope this was an informative, if not entertaining session. We'll have to see what the theme that ties all this together is as I come up with a title, which you'll already know, but I don't know yet. And as always, you know, give me a thumbs up if you have any, if you catch anything that I did wrong here, let me know. If you just have any comments, love to see them on Board Game Geek or on YouTube. So thanks again for watching, and until next time.